What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see in the description and the title, we have a pretty terrible watch to review today. So this is the EXTREE, which is an homage of the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean chronograph. Disclaimer, trigger warning, just a heads up. I kind of tear into this watch a little because I feel like for the price point it missed the mark on a lot of areas that it should not have for the price point. You guys know me. I feel like I've reviewed enough watches to where I know what's a good value and what's a kind of ripoff or where you're overpaying pretty heavily. And you'll see in this review why. I gave it multiple chances, so I tried to be as fair as I could, but it's just not a watch that I can recommend. So make sure you stick around and drop a comment down below what you think. If you are an owner of this watch and it's been great for you and you really enjoy it, also leave me a comment down below because maybe it's just my bad luck and my own experience. These are just my opinions on this watch. So I actually sent this watch and the Rocos R0146, which is another review dropping today in about 30 minutes from now. So make sure you go check that out. I'll link it up here and down in the description. But I sent both of these watches over to Average Joe Watch Reviews so he could compare them side by side with the actual Omega Planet Ocean that he owns. And we'll see what is a $50 homage and a $200 homage. How does it stack up against the real deal? I think it'd be a cool video. So make sure you go follow him if you're not already. And I'll link that video here for you also. You can check it out. And in the description. Okay, so real quick, in case you're new to the channel, my name's Dave. May the Schwartz be with you. And hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch? Today I have on the Benyar BY5174, which is the Panerai Radiomir Homage. And yeah, I've done a review on it. You can check that out up here. Now, as far as this EXTREE watch, don't take my word for it. See for yourself. Let's get into it. Okay guys, here we have the EXTREE watch, which I think is supposed to be extreme, but they missed the M. That's my guess. So unfortunately though, I gotta say this watch misses the mark in so many critical areas of what makes a watch a good or bad watch. And for 50 bucks, you be the judge and tell me in the comments if you would pay that or any amount for this watch. But I don't think it's an extreme watch by any means. So let's go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of this EXTREE watch. Let's put it on the wrist so you can see that it is a larger watch and it has a pretty substantial wrist presence. And you also notice at a glance that it is an homage of the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean chronograph watch. And we'll start off with some measurements as we always do. And we have a bit of an illusion with this watch as the bezel measures in at 43.5 millimeters, but the case is actually a bit wider than the bezel, so the case diameter overall is 45 millimeters. If we include the crown, it's going to bring us right in at 48 millimeters. Lug to lug height is 51 millimeters, so you will need a larger wrist all around to wear this watch, and we got a chunky case thickness of 16 millimeters. Part of that is also due to the domed mineral crystal. One of the things I'm not a fan of is when they do the domed mineral crystal and it ends up having this green hue or color to it. The distortion effect is nice, but that bluish or greenish blue hue just makes the watch look cheap, in my opinion. It makes it look like it's made out of the same glass you see in a Coke bottle. And that's not a deal breaker for me, but something I did want to point out in case that also bothers you. The lug width on this watch is 22 millimeters, and there is a very nice nylon and rubber blended strap. I have to chalk it up as a pro because the strap is actually pretty good. It has a nice stiff feel, but it's still pliable. However, you can see it doesn't fit the lugs perfectly, so it's just a bit thicker than it needs to be. But it does taper down, so where you see it's thicker at the lugs, and then right at about halfway you see it bends much more easily. It's nice that it has a single deployant clasp, but I am going to consider this a con since it's a really thin stamped clasp. You know, I can bend this with my bare hand, so that just shows how thin this is. And I think I would have rather seen a nicer tang buckle on it instead of this clasp. Now, if you've never handled a watch with a nice quality deployant clasp, this may be a cool feature to see initially, but I just have to let you know it's not good enough, in my opinion, for that $50 price point. Now, there is a 60-click unidirectional bezel. It's nice to see that it does function and it rotates, but there's a ton of back play. There's an overall mushy feel to it, and it has a tinny sound. It's not the worst that I've handled, so I gotta at least say that. As far as the bezel insert, it's a flat aluminum metal, and it does have a deep coin edge to it, which is actually kind of nice. The weird thing is, it looks like there's this plastic coating over it though, so you can see my nail scratches it very easily, so I'm not sure what's up with that. If it's supposed to be like that, or if I'm supposed to remove that plastic coating, I'm really not sure. A weird thing I saw with this model is that there is a blue dial option and blue strap, but the bezel is still black and orange, not blue and orange. I would have went for the blue dial and strap option to match closer with the Rocos version, but to keep things matching, I just decided to stick with the black and orange version. Now, it's not all bad. The font and the style of the bezel is done right, which I like, but the helium escape valve, strictly for looks. It's non-functional, it doesn't turn or screw down at all, and I wish it did because in the current state, it really cheapens the watch, and I personally would have rather it just be excluded, to be honest. Now, getting up close on the dial, we see there are split seconds along the chapter ring, which we also have applied stick hour markers, and they look good. And then there's the Omega style arrow minute and hour hands, which are looking cool as well. I do like that they put an orange baton shaped hand on the 24-hour indicator subdial at 3 o'clock, and then a simple steel baton shaped hand at the running chronograph subdial at 9 o'clock, which does track time up to 1 hour. And I like the orange arrow shaped tip of the chronograph second hand as well. I like that it extends all the way to the chapter ring, which is important, especially for a chronograph. Now keep in mind this watch does not have a running second hand, that is just strictly for the chronograph. Now the watch does have Loom, which is actually applied to the minute, the hour, and the second hand, as well as all of the indices, the subdial hands, and even the pearl on the bezel, which is really nice. However, the Loom does fade fairly quickly, so it's just one of those things that upon initial charge it looks good, but dies off very shortly after. I think it is hilarious that the dial has indication of coaxial master chronometer with a water resistance rating of 600 meters. Trust me guys, that is not the case at all with this watch. I would not take this anywhere near water. I would try to not even sweat while wearing the watch. The case back only says water resistance, which tells me it's likely only 30 meters, maybe 10 meters water resistance. And the case back also says stainless steel back, which means that this watch has a metal alloy case. And you'll notice it on the brushing. It doesn't look like a stainless steel brush. It looks weird, and it's because it is an alloy. Now, I do have to admit that I was surprised to actually see the watch does have a screw down case back, so maybe it does have 600 meters water resistance, but I'm going to put my Vegas bet that it does not. Now for the ultimate cringe. Are you guys ready? The case back has branding that says Speedmaster Professional. Speedmaster. But the dial says Seamaster Professional. So what is it? Is it, guys, we found it. It's the ultimate one of a kind. It's a Sea Speedy. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that, but it is hilarious. Now the watch has a push-pull crown with a nice coin edge to it, and we see the date window at 6 o'clock, an indication of quartz movement. The watch is actually powered by a mecha quartz movement, which you'll see resets the chronograph when you pull the crown out into position 2. The hands feel pretty nice, to be honest, when adjusting the time. The date wheel is just slightly offset though, which is a disappointment. And the font on this date wheel is blurry and not crisp, so there's another disappointment there too. I'm really not sure why they didn't go with a better date wheel option. Now for the biggest flaw of this watch, and that is the chronograph pushers. First off, they don't screw down, so it's just for looks. But when I push the top pusher, you'll notice this chronograph does not run. And that is because off camera, when I went to push the bottom pusher to reset the chronograph, the pusher got stuck deep inside the case. Look at this. I can't get it out. I'm actually sending this off to Average Joe just the way it is so he can take a look at it, but it is stuck in there for good. Now you guys know me, I feel every brand deserves a second chance, but here's the kicker. This is the second chance. Don't believe me? Bam! There's the first chance. And the first one broke within seconds of me having it out of the box. Okay, so look at this. All right. When I hit the top pusher, all is well. It's working. Yay, everything's good. But you want to stop it and reset it? Well, tough luck, buddy, because the bottom pusher fell out like a 3-year-old's first tooth. And here it is, the bottom pusher. Look, So I'm going to put this back in and reset it. Now this one's stuck. Look at this. Wow. Okay. The same problem we're experiencing with this pusher. Yeah. Honestly, thank God I got each of these on Amazon, so I'm able to return them and get my money back, which I will do. But this watch, as cool as it looked in the photos, for 50 bucks, my best advice is to just stay away from this one. Maybe they'll fix the issues, but until then, I just can't recommend this watch for you guys looking to get a Seamaster Planet Ocean Homage. Or is it Speedmaster? Well, either one. So I think I know what you guys are going to say in the comments, but I love a good chuckle, so please, please, please drop me a comment with your thoughts. And sorry, EXTREE, their brand, if you've made improvements and you want to send an upgraded version into the channel to be reviewed, I'd be happy to oblige, so reach out to me and we'll make it happen. But for the rest of you guys, if you'd like reviews like this, be sure to hit my face down here and subscribe and be part of the Schwartz Force. And for more videos like this one, check this one out up here, which I know you'll really like. As always, may the Schwartz be with you, and I look forward to seeing you all at the next one. Take care.